Okay, guys. Well, I have gone through this lesson. I already taught it and recorded myself, and somehow it didn't work. So this is attempt number 2 to record myself teaching these problems, and that's why the answers are already done. So I just want you to pay attention, and I'm going to go through it again quickly, and maybe it'll record me this time. So anyway, we're looking at perimeter and area today. And remember, let's just talk about what perimeter and area are before we do anything else. Perimeter is if you were to measure all the distance around all the sides of a rectangle and add up how far it is to walk from one place all the way back to it, that would be the perimeter. It's the distance all the way around. And when we think about a rectangle, remember that this side is just as far as this side. These have equal lengths. And this side is just as long as this side. These sides have equal lengths. So that's important to remember. Now, area is all of the boxes that would fit inside of the shape. So all of these boxes that would fit inside here would be the area. And we find it by multiplying how long it is by how wide it is. Okay. One thing that's really important to remember as you go through today's work is make sure you know whether it's asking for the area or the perimeter. You need to you can't underline it on your computer, but if you were at school, I would make you underline what it's asking for and maybe write down the formula. So we learned in our lesson a minute ago that the area is length times width, or one side times the other side. So on this one, we know that one side is 9 times the other side is 7. You got to know your multiplication facts. 9 times 7 is what? It's 63. So if you were to walk all the way, if you were to count all the boxes inside of rectangle A, you would get 63 boxes. The second question asks us for the perimeter of rectangle A. Now, one way you can do it is just add them up. Add up the sides. There's this one's 9, this one's 9, this one's 7, this one's 7. So you could say 9 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7. You get 32 if you do that. He showed us some other ways. You could do 2 times this length plus 2 times that width. So 9 plus 7 is 16. You could do 2 times 16. You would still get 32. Whichever way you want to do it. Sometimes it's easier to just add. Sometimes you can multiply easier. You can do it either way you want to. Let's move over here to rectangle B. The area is the length times the width again. So one side is 6, the other side is 9. 6 times 9 is 54. Perimeter, we add this 6 plus this 9 plus this 6 plus this 9. So you can add them all up. You can do 6 plus 9 plus 9. Or another way the video showed us that we could do it is 2 times one side plus 2 times the other side. So it would be 2 times 6 plus 2 times 9. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 9 is 18. If you add them together, you get 30. But if you were to go 6 plus 6, be 12, plus 9 would be 21, plus 9 would be 30. So you'd get the same way if you added. Okay, moving on. Here's another problem. We've got a 5 and a 5 and a 6 and a 6 on this rectangle. The first part asks for the area, so we know we multiply the two sides together. The 5 times the 6, and that gives us 30. And when you're multiplying these centimeters together, you put 30 centimeters with that little 2 right there. It means 30 centimeters squared. Like there would be 30 squares inside there is what that means. Perimeter, we're adding all the sides together. 2 5s, 5 plus 5. 2 6s plus 6 plus 6. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 6 is 22 centimeters. Moving on, the next problem, we got a skinny guy here. That side's 8, so that side's 8. That side's 3, so that side's 3. It asks us for the area first, which is length times width. 3 times 8, 24 centimeters. And we squared. That means 24 squares would fit inside there. Perimeter, We can just add them up. 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 8 is 22. Or we could do that formula, 2 times 8 plus 3. 8 plus 3 is 11, times 2 is 22. You get the same thing. Moving right along to the next one. We won't want to multiply on this one because the numbers are big. And I know you don't know how to multiply, probably most of you, 2 times 166 yet. So we'll just add 166 plus 166. These two sides added together are 332. Add these two sides together, 99 plus 99, we get 198. So these are 198 together. These are 332, but all together, or to get all the way around, we've got to add those two together. So 332 plus 198, 530. Or if you just wanted to go 166 plus 900 plus 99 and get that answer, and then add 166 more and get that answer, and add 99 more and get that answer, you just still end up with 530. And either way you want to do it is fine. Number 5, determine the perimeter of the rectangle below. All right, now this one's tricky. What I want you to know first is that 100 centimeters is the same as 1 meter. So when it says 1 meter, 50 centimeters on this one, since everything else is in centimeters, I want to make both sides in centimeters. So I'm going to take that 1 meter, and I'm going to change it to 100 centimeters because 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Then I've got 50 more, so altogether I've got 150 centimeters. This side's 150 centimeters. So now I can add them together. 150 centimeters plus 150 centimeters is 300 centimeters, but I've still got to add these two sides together. 75 centimeters plus 75 centimeters is 150 centimeters. Add those two numbers together to get all the way around. 300 centimeters plus 150 centimeters is 450 centimeters would be the answer. And for those of you who like to get fancy, since we know that 100 centimeters is 1 meter, we could take those 400 centimeters and make them 4 meters. And there would be 50 left. You don't have to do that, just for those of you who like to be fancy and convert it back to meters and centimeters. The next one. Now it starts to get a bit tricky because we've got to know our formula. Area is length times width, but this time it gives us the area and the length of one side, but not the other. So we have to write our formula out like this. Area, we know the area is 80, equals this side, 8, times, we didn't know that side. So we have to think 8 times what would give me 80. 8 times 10 gives me 80. So, or 80. So our missing side is 10 centimeters. Next one is just like that. We got an area of 49. We know one side is 7, but we don't know the other. So 49 is 7 times whatever this side is. You know that 7 times what gives me 49? 7 times 7 centimeters gives me 49. So sometimes you're going to get some problems like these two where it gives you the area and only one side and not the other. And then sometimes you're going to get some problems like this. It gives you the perimeter and one side, but not the other. So we know our perimeter is adding all 4 sides together, the length plus the length plus the length plus the width plus the width. And this problem, I know I've got it written in, but this problem did not give us this width right here. So I know the total perimeter is 120, and I know this side, 20 plus 20, is 40, but I don't know these two sides. So it's kind of like a tape diagram. I know that half of it is 40, but I don't know the other half. But I know whatever we add to 40 has to equal 120. Well, what would you do if this was a tape diagram? You would take 120 and subtract 40 from it to get this missing part. And if you did that, you would get 80. So these two parts added together give us 80. Now we have to think what plus what equals 80. And if you thought 40 plus 40 gives me 80, you're right. So this missing side and that side right there would both be 40 centimeters. Another one like that. This time we've got a perimeter of 1,000 meters. And we know that this side is 250 meters, but we didn't know that one. So I had to start with taking 1,000 meters. And I know that my perimeter is length plus width plus width. And I only know one side. I only know the 250. So I know 1,000 equals 250 plus 250 plus something plus something. All right. So I know these two add up. 250 plus 250, that's 500. And I've got to figure out what these two add up to. So I'm going to do my tape diagram. 500 plus something gives me 1,000. If I didn't know it in my head, which I think you know 500 is half of 1,000, so the other half's going to be 500, you'd have to subtract it. And you could. 1,000 minus 500, you would get 500. Then what plus what is 500? It already tells us. 250 plus 250 is 500. So we know the missing side is 250 meters. And then it gets even trickier because they want to make it hard for you and make you think. Because this one gives us the perimeter and the area, but no side lengths. So this time we've got the area is 24, the perimeter is 20. Here's how I would start if I were you. I would think what times what can give me 24. And I had already worked this out when I recorded it before and it didn't record. So I chose 2 times 12 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 6 is 24. And I put them in the blanks and I added them up to see if I could get the perimeter of 20. And when I used the 2 and 12, 2 plus 12 is 14, plus 2 is 16, plus 12 is 28. That didn't add up to 20, so that's not my numbers. So I tried the 3 and the 8. 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 8 is 22. Well, that didn't add up to 20, so it's not a 3 and an 8. So I tried my 4 and 6. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 4 is 14, plus 6 is 20. So I know it's 4 and 6. This side's shorter, so I'm going to make my width 4. It says W equals. So width equals 4. And I'm going to make my length, since the longer side, the bigger number, 6. The length is 6. So you have to think about what numbers multiplied together will get you that area first. Just like that on this one. My area is 24. Perimeter is 28, but it doesn't tell me the sides. So again, what number times what number will give me that area? Start there. And it was this 24, the same number, so I knew it was 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6 again. And I tried 2 and 12, and guess what? It worked. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 12 is 16, plus 12 is 28. So the short side length is 2. The long side, the width is 12. All right, I know you can do this today. It's a bit tricky, but you're smart. You can do it. Go take off and get it done now.